Hello everyone, welcome back. This is Obiano Chidozie. This is A to Z Psychology with Obiano Chidozie. So today we will be talking about variables. Although we are supposed to talk about the experimental research design, but I want to first, so we try to discuss variables before we go into the experimental research design. This will help us to understand easily what we're going to be talking about in experimental research design. So quickly, I'll be fast with it. What is variables? What is a variable? Now, whenever you say variable, it means something that can vary. Something that can vary. It is variable. It is able to vary, right? That is variable. So scientifically, what then is variable? Variable is any aspect of behavior. You know, we are psychologists, right? Or a physicist will tell you it's any matter or any aspect of an object or an organism, like in biology, or anything that can take more than one value. Yes. In psychology, we understand that variable is anything, or like I said, any aspect of behavior, or any aspect, not even only behavior, because we deal with animals, we deal with stars in the Milky Way, we deal with any other thing, right? But so far that thing can take more than one value, then we say it is a variable. That is a good definition for variable. Any aspect of behavior that can take more than one value, that can change, that can vary, it is regarded to as variable. Please, it's not an adjective, it is a noun, right? Variables in psychology are those things or concept that we use to refer to any aspect of behavior or object or animal, organism, anything, right, that can take more than one value. We say it's a variable. Yes. So example of those things that can take more than one value is your mood. Your mood can take more than one value. That is happy mood, sad mood. Your personality. In human behavior, we have like the personality types, like by Cray and McRae, and 1984, 74, right? 84. We talk about types of personality. One could be, you see somebody that is having openness, conscientiousness, extroversion, agreeableness, neuroticism. Again, oftentimes we also refer to variables as constructs. Constructs is reason because these are things that we can measure, right? We have types of variable like categorical variable, although that's not the interest for this course or anything you're going to be needing that much, but you just need to know it. These ones take one, should I say, they are not manipulatable. Yes, you can't change them. For example, gender. Gender vary, right? You can either be male or female, right? So you see that we cannot manipulate anybody to change from female to male or from male to female. What of age is also regarded to as that, even though it changes, but it cannot take it can take more than one value too as a variable, but you know that we don't manipulate age to refer to from you are 10 today or 20, right? You can't be 21 today. You remain 20 until you become 21. Okay, so that is that. Another one, we're talking about your social economic status, lower class, high class, middle class. Do you see these are three different variables of what, or values of economic status? Do you see that the construct or the variable economic status can take up to three values, either low, high, or middle, right? What again? These are the ones we refer to as categorical variables. Yes, these are categorical variables. So I just gave that for example. So when we say anything that can vary, it can vary not only in one person, like me now. Gender as a male is a variable, but doesn't mean that I can change or my gender can vary. But in research, we can categorize them, male and female. Economic status, we can categorize them. This is how we vary them in research. Age, we can categorize them. Adolescents, youth, young adults, older adults, all those things, right? So, religious status, other demographic variables, right? So, that is that. Now, coming to what we need for the course, we need to understand that three major types of variables, but I'm going to make it 5. So we talk about here independent variable, dependent variable, extraneous variable, moderating variable, and mediating variable. Yes, independent variable, let me start quickly, refers to the kind of variables that are manipulated in a research. They are the criterion variable upon which the research is based, and where you can manipulate and check the outcome on the dependent. The independent variable in experimental design research is referred to also as the manipulated variable, or you also call it the experimental's variable, right? So that is it. For example, mood, like I said, if I wanted to check if individual students' mood will affect their academic performance, what do? I will simply try to give them any movie that can change their mood. Maybe 10 persons here will watch sad movie, 10 persons the other side will watch happy movie, right? See, from that I can manipulate their mood. Now, you see, that is mood in this research now is called independent variable. Now, how will I know if it affected their academic performance? I'll give them tests and I will check their score. That their score is the academic performance, and that is regarded to as dependent variable. That is the dependent. But the independent is the manipulation I made to the environment, or I made to their behavior or their mood in this case now. So independent variable is the manipulated variable, is the one that the researcher manipulates or collects data on to check the effect on the dependent. Dependent variable, on the other hand, is the outcome variable or response variable, right? Outcome measure. This is where we measure the effect of the influence of the independent. This is the outcome of the manipulation done on the independent. Then on the other hand, like for example, here you understand that, for example, if I say, once I pinch you, you will cry, right? So you understand that when a student is pinched, for example, an individual, you will now check whether the person will cry or not. So the pinching is the manipulation of the mood. Then you now check, did he cry or not, right? You check whether the person cried or not. So the outcome, whether he cried or did not cry, is the dependent, while the manipulation is the independent. Now, the question is, when I pinch one and the person cries, is there any other reason the person might be crying by that time? Perhaps heartbreak, right? Perhaps going through some difficulty academically or financially, or in fact, hungry, right? Perhaps the person is hungry. A lot of things can be reason why the person can be crying. Do you see that I may be wrong if I go publishing my work that yes, pinching make people cry, so everyone should avoid being pinched because pinching make people cry? With this experiment, I might have been wrong, because when I pinched the person cried, although not knowing that the person have other reasons why he or she is crying. You know, some children do that a lot, right? You'll be like, okay, oh, you have been waiting to cry. That kind of thing, right? There are other reasons, things they wouldn't have done, but because their mom is there, because they want to be cuddled and everything, they will start throwing tantrums, right? So you see that that particular reason or that particular influence on the DV, other than the one intended by the independent, is what we refer to as the extraneous variables. The extraneous variables are unwanted and have the power to influence the dependent just the same way the independent would have influenced it. You might have seen your fan blowing sometimes when there is no light. It could be ventilation from the window, right? In that situation, you understand that your hypothesis may be wrong if you say your fan is moving or is good, or the light makes it move. There wasn't light, in fact it wasn't on. So what am I trying to say? Independent variables are the variables we manipulate, while the dependent are where we check the result of the manipulation done on the independent. And extraneous variables are the variables we try to hold and resist unwanted. In every type of research, please take note, we try to avoid extraneous variables because they will influence the dependent the same way independent wanted to influence it. You would think that it was independent that caused, not knowing that it was another thing. Just as the way we thought it was the pinching that caused someone to cry, not knowing that the person had other reasons. So anything you try to do, publishing that work and proposing that this happens, formulating theories from it, it will be on error, right? So it's very bad. So that is a extraneous variable. They are very unwanted. They can lead to confounding. We call it confounding. All these problems when there is this kind of extraneous variable affecting the outcome of the research or experiment in this question, we say it has led to what? Confounding, excuse me. So independent variable, dependent, extraneous. Now I want to talk about mediating variables. Mediating variables are we call them the third variable in a research. Mediating explains to you why independent relate to dependent. In the case of pain, pain is the mediating between independent, that is the pinching, and the crying. That is the explanation we can give to that situation. That means pain is the pathway through which pinching can lead to cry. Why are you crying? He pinched me. Why? How? What, is that why you're crying? Yes, because it was painful. Do you see the explanation they are giving to that relationship? The pain between independent and dependent, that is the pinching and crying, is the mediating variable. I've given an example there. Pain, although it's not so much a variable we're going to be needing for this course, the major ones we will be expecting to understand is independent, dependent, and extraneous. But for this course, I'm trying to understand that we are students of psychology and we'll go far. Even in third year, we'll be final year. Till final year, we'll be needing these variables in particular. Now, moderating variable, another important one, is another third variable that can stand between two variables, that is the independent and dependent. Whereas mediating variables explains the relationship, moderating variables regulates the relationship. Moderating variables try to regulate the relationship. In this situation, like let me see, for example, the pinching and crying, let me see what can resist. Okay, consciousness, somebody's consciousness. I'm trying to say that if there is this pain perception or sensitivity, you know, some people that are hypersensitive will react more to that pinch than people that are not having that, right? So meaning that the level of your sensitivity will determine how far that pinching can bring that pain to you or leading to your crying, right? So this one determines whether this relationship will be strong or lower. So moderating moderates the relationship. Yeah, I'll stop it there. So we continue about these variables. Looking at another thing we need to know concerning these variables. I just wanted to give this brief explanation because we'll be needing it moving forward, so we can have a good understanding with what we are talking about in this course. So in the summary, we understand we have looked at independent variable, dependent variable, extraneous variable, mediating variable, moderating variable. With time I'll be throwing more light on that mediating and moderating on other courses. So see you on the other videos. Thank you very much.